Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sneak In Some Science with Ms. Mercury. You'll never guess what today's episode is all about. Sports. We're going to talk about sports. But wait a minute, Ms. Mercury, what do sports and science have in common? Everything. There is so much science involved in sports. It's crazy. So I know summer is just starting here and everyone's kind of thinking about the ways to get active and have some fun. And I'm telling you, sports are all about science. So let's think about sports for a second. No matter what kind of sport you're playing, there's always some kind of connection to science. Let's just look at some of the basic sports that I chose to display on the table. Let's start with the football. For example, why is a football shaped the way it's shaped? If you've ever seen football, held a football, watched someone playing football, there are these laces that are in the center, which is where you put your fingers to throw it. And then when you throw it, there's a certain way. And as the football gets thrown in the air, it actually spins like this so that it can fly faster and more accurately through the air to be caught by another player. So even the ball was really designed with science in mind. If we look at other types of materials that are used for sports, we've got things like a golf ball or even a tennis ball. Now, if I squeeze a tennis ball, this is a very fresh tennis ball, but this tennis ball has rubber on the inside and it has a little bit of give to it. So if I'm hitting a tennis ball and it's bouncing on a court, the bounce is just enough to tap and then come right back up again. And it provides just the amount of right spring for it to be hit by a racket. If the ball is what we call flat, or it's an older ball, the ball doesn't work so well, and you're not gonna play a very good game of tennis. How about this ball? Do you guys know what this is? This is a wiffle ball, and it's called a wiffle ball for a couple of different reasons. One of the biggest reasons we called it a wiffle ball was because the sound it makes when it whiffs by you, or the sound when someone tries to hit it and they don't miss, and then we call it a whiff. But it has all of these holes in it so that when you hit it, it actually will slow down and it won't go way out so that you can't play anymore for like 10-15 minutes. But the air will go inside of the holes, slow it down so the game is played in a smaller field. So it's fun to play wiffle ball. Then you've got things like basketballs. This is a kickball. Love playing kickball. It's not just for kids, by the way. This is a rugby ball. So there are so many cool types of sports out there that involve tools like these. They were designed purposely like this. That's engineering design. So everything that you see has a purpose of why it looks the way it looks, sometimes even why it's the color that it is. Take a look at this softball for a second. See the color? Most times we think of baseballs and softballs, we think of them being white. Why do you think this softball is this sort of bright yellow in color? Well, I can tell you why it's bright yellow in my life is because we used to play in an evening league and it was actually easier to see this color at dusk. And so we used to play it that way and see it in the grass. So even color can be part of an engineering design. So whether it's the way the seams work or it's the actual structure itself with holes or the material that you'll find in it, everything was done on purpose. So we have a wonderful science enthusiast on the show that I invited on the show today because she is a softball extraordinaire. On FaceTime with us today is an amazing science enthusiast. I'm going to let her introduce herself. Go for it.
Okay. Hi, I'm Carson, and I'm 11 years old, and I live in North Carolina.
And so Carson, we've already told all of our science enthusiasts that you're a softball player, but tell us what position you play.
I play pitcher and shortstop most of the time.
Excellent. So you pitch and you play shortstop. And we talked about in this episode about the science of softball and all these cool things about softball and whatnot. I'm going to have you talk a little bit more about your experience. But before we get there, tell me a little bit more about your history with softball. When did you first start playing?
I started playing when I was 8 years old.
Awesome. And how did you know you wanted to play softball?
Well, I just stopped playing soccer.
Mm-hmm.
So then it was a couple years after, and my dad wanted me to play sport, so I chose softball.
Awesome. And tell me, why, I know you're a pitcher and you play shortstop. Why pitching? That seems like a really, really tough position. Why were you attracted to a position like pitching?
Well, my dad, he was a pitcher when he played baseball, and that just really inspired me, and I just wanted to be a pitcher.
Awesome. I love that answer. Okay, so we've been obviously making some science connections, as the audience knows, and it's so awesome, again, to have you on the show today, Carson, because there's so much science involved with softball. But what I wanted you to tell our science enthusiasts out there is a little bit more about the science of pitching a softball. So tell us a little bit more about pitching when it comes to how you start your pitch and then how you follow through and all that. I'm going to let you take it away.
Okay, so how you want to start is you want to start with your hands apart, just to walk up and then bring them together. And then what I do is I bend down and kind of go a little bit sideways.
Okay.
And then you want to bring it around and jump sideways pretty much, and just bring your back arm through, and it should bring your hips forward, and that just gives you that snap.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about why you turn your body sideways. I've seen that a lot when I watch baseball and softball. So why do they turn their bodies sideways?
You're supposed to jump out, and that gives you a lot of momentum to just bring your arm around, and it just works. It's
right.
You want to jump out as far as you can to get the ball really fast around.
Momentum is probably really important because momentum leads to speed, and I'm sure that it's really important to have a fast pitch sometimes when you're playing softball, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so I like how you talked about how you jump a certain way too. So it's kind of like not only do you stand to the side, but also you jump and you get a little bit more of a bounce. So it's almost like an extra force that you have behind your jump that goes further. How do you know when you're supposed to release the ball?
For me, when I go around and I smack my thigh, that's what most pitchers do. That's when I know when to release.
Yeah. Okay, and so what happens if you release it too early or too late?
If you release it too early, it'll go straight to the ground. If you release it too late, it'll go way up high in the air.
Yeah, that sounds like my strategy, probably. Tell me, I know that there's different kinds of pitches, so it's not just like one single kind of pitch. There's different types of pitches. What are some of the pitches that you practice?
I practice changeup and curveball.
Curveball. That sounds really scary. I would step back if a curveball came my way. And then what? The first one, a changeup. What happens to the ball when it goes to the hitter at a changeup?
It goes slower, and you just do your normal pitch, and then when you release, it goes slower, so that the batter might lunge and
Ooh, science up here. I got it. That's smart. Well, we were just talking about what the softball looks like, and there's all of these seams. It looks like, just like needle seams all over a softball. Do those have a purpose that you can tell us about?
How I grip them for pitching, you have to put 3 fingers around the seam, and you shape it like a C, so then you hold it, and it just gets you to like fling it off your fingers, and it works really well.
Nice.
Get that spin.
Awesome. So how often, Carson, do you practice softball, pitching, being a shortstop? How much work does that take throughout your daily week, a typical week?
I practice whenever my dad gets off work, and it's mostly every other day because I have plans some days, so I just try to get in as much practice as possible.
Awesome. I love it. So Carson and I have a science challenge for all the science enthusiasts. So whether you play a sport like softball or you watch soccer or baseball season's coming, we have basketball coming up, we want you to think about the science that you see when you see your sport. So it could be the tools that are used, the equipment, it could be the way the players are working themselves or the equipment that they use. But we want to make sure that you can see that it's science every day. Carson, thanks so much for being on the show.
No problem.
Have a great summer and good luck this fall with whatever happens with softball.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Whoa. All of that was just so amazing, Carson. I mean, I didn't realize how much science goes into pitching a softball. I mean, all of those strategies that she talked about and the way she pitched it, so many years of practice to be able to pitch a ball like this and do it so well. I wish you the best of luck. I am so excited to see where softball will take you, Carson. Thanks for being on the show. So we've come to the end of our episode. It was definitely really cool to talk about the science of softball and things like that. And I'd love to explore some of these other sports and activities that are also a really big part of some of your lives. There's a lot of science all around us. It doesn't take very much to look out and just see it. So let's talk about goals for a second. I always like to end the episode on somewhat of a forward-thinking, kindness, positive note, right? So let's think about the kinds of goals that we have for ourselves. We got to see Carson play some softball and that great pitching that she has. And I know that she's going to continue working really hard to make her softball dreams and accomplishments just come to life. What are some of the things, goals, and ideas and thoughts that you have about things that you would like to accomplish in the next maybe couple of days, maybe couple of weeks, maybe before the end of the summer? I want you to think about what we say is an attainable goal or a goal that you think you can accomplish. It might take a little bit of hard work. Hard work is always very important when it comes to having your goals. We don't want them just to be super easy or else there's not really much to work for. But let's just come up with 1 or 2 goals of things that we can do before the summer ends and before we go back to school. Write them down and put them in a place where you can look at them every day. You want to try to make big progress towards your goals. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Sneak in Some Science with Miss Mercury. I'll catch you later. Bye. Hi everybody. Welcome to another I didn't mean to put that on. Oh my God. All right. First of all, my hand is stuck in this glove. The cool thing about that was crazy. Hi everybody. Welcome to another. Let's put that in the blooper. Oh my gosh. Nope. Yeah. Boom. You're out. Brings me back to grade school. I did not like dodgeball. I like kickball. I don't like dodgeball. Yeah, you ready? No, you? No. Who's open? Who's open? It's hot. No matter what you do, always hydrate. It's very important. Science of hydration. Oh. Ooh. Cut.